never seen anything like it. Trump policies leave U.S.
Welcome to Politics Done Right. I am your host, Egberto Willies. This is a progressive program that will take the mystery out of politics. This is the program that will encourage you to make sure government becomes we the people. Whether you are liberal, progressive, conservative, or otherwise, you get to air your point of view. We are an independent media outlet that, unlike mainstream media beholden to corporations, we only owe allegiance to you. Remember, you can also send me a tweet at EGBERTOWILLIES. That is at Egberto Willies. Let us engage. It is Politics Done Right. Well, folks, welcome to one more edition of Politics Done Right. I'm Egberto Willies, your host. Thank you so kindly for being a part of the show. We are going to have a great show for you today. How's everybody doing? I trust that all's fine with everybody. Let me get to my chat screen to welcome folks into the house. Anyway, we've got, let's see, on our standard chat, we have in the house, starting and bringing it up from the top is, Yvette Avery Herod was number one from Atlanta, Georgia. Hi, Yvette, how you doing, beautiful? We also have AVQ, says he's watching from Twitch. Coming in from Brooklyn, New York, we have Maywood from Long Beach, California. We have Joe from Los Angeles, California. We also have... Para ver. Oh, did you say reverb? Can you check that later? I hope I'm not having any reverb right now. Michael says, you already got it. I am glad I did. I don't know what I did, though. Let me see. Make sure that I don't have the dupleta on because I'm using a new mic. So I want to make sure that in using that new mic, I am not having a monitor that screws things, and I think I'm okay. All right, Eric Hayes is in the house from Kingwood, Atascocita. We also have Lee Grant from Montgomery County, and Patrick Magnus says, meow. He's in from Houston, Texas, and the one and only Bruce Pollard. He says, Bruce, a great show. Let's talk wind power. We can talk anything, Bruce. If you want to call in and tell me what you want to talk about wind power, this is y'all's show. You know that's the way it goes. Patrick Magnus says, this show did not populate correctly. I chose a pre-recorded program and your live came up. Oh, what happened? A pre-recorded program? I wonder if I made a mistake somewhere. I mean, it could be that I made a mistake, but I don't know if I did. If I did, I'll try to solve it. Let me see what's the title. No, according to this, it has a 1776 project in there, so I think we're okay. Okay, on our Lita Beercat from Austin, Texas is in the house as well. From our Substack, we lose the first couple of dozen, but we have in the house Dale, we have Hirut Kirein Miriam, welcome aboard. Margaret Ryan says, good afternoon from Washington State. Our beautiful Barbara Fetante from Austin, Texas in the house. Brian Downey in the house. The sound is low. Okay. Maybe I need to adjust the gain. This is a new mic, like I said. So while you guys are listening, I will do things to try to improve the quality of the sound. Para ver, let's see if I can get to the particular channel and put some gain on it. And let's see if I can let's put a 125 gain on it and see if that makes a difference. I hope that makes a difference. If it does, good for me. If it doesn't, not good for me. So anyhow, let me know, guys. I'm about to put it on right now. So the gain is on. I hope that is better. Is that any better at 125? Let me know. Okay. Guys, tell me if the gain has improved with the 125 gain apportioned, and I will say, yay, hooray. All right, yes, that is better. Is it good enough? Let me know. I see I'm saturating some, so I need to make sure not to do too bad. All right, Anyhow, welcome aboard, Cynthia Verdel. Great to see you here. Margaret Ryan, great to see you here. Sabrina, how are you doing, Sabrina? Welcome aboard as well. Diane Femke. And Hirut is from San Diego, California. Anyway, folks, let's see what we're going to start with. What should we start with today? What should we start with? We start with Michael Rudnin's research. All right, Politico. Senate confirms Trump advisor Stephen Miran to the Fed board. Miran's addition to the board will be President Donald Trump's first concrete mark on the institution during his second term, and it could give him unusual direct influence over a member of the board, which he has, because this guy actually voted. Guess what? This guy voted to raise the rates by 0.5% instead of the 0.25%, which was actually done. The nomination means the Federal Reserve has lost its independent status. Stephen Miran is on Trump's Council of Economic Advisors, meaning that a White House employee is now a member of the Fed, which makes no sense. But hey, nothing makes sense under Trump, and somehow it continues, right? The US dollar will likely drop in international markets due to Trump's need to control our economy. And as the dollar drops, guess what happened, guys? The products that we import, all of them in Walmart, Target, the ones that cost the middle class more, they will be raised in price on a dollar per dollar basis. This guy's destroying the economy, but he said the economy was dead. That's what he said. The economy was dead. Wow. Well, it's going to be dead now. Anyhow, but we can't. Look, I laugh. I shouldn't laugh. There's nothing funny about saying the economy is dead. Nothing. Nothing funny about it. All right, what else have we got here? Let's see what else have we got here. I need to look at a map to make sure that when we get this particular mic in, that this microphone looks just like the JBL, and it does not, but I think I just did it now. All right, guys, make sure that that everything is still working fine. It looks exactly like the JBL does. All right. Okay, what else have we got here? AVQ says, Patrick, that's YouTube's fault. Sometimes YouTube offers an old show when the live stream starts. Michael Radney says, Egberto's sound is only a little bit low for me. I'll just turn the speakers up. I think I fixed it, though. I think I got that fixed. Maywood is in the house. Michael says, yep, tariffs on the top, dollar losses. Trump is going to amass an economy, all right. Look, it's going to be quite interesting. Okay. All right, folks, let's continue. And I want everybody to listen to this. I don't know if I gave this narrative yesterday here or not. I know I gave it at KPFT, but I don't think I gave it here. It seems like Larry Ellison is going to be taking over, from the database company. I think it's going to be taking over TikTok. Larry Ellison is likely to take over TikTok. And there is a TikToker, I hope it's still up, that I want to play for you because this has some implications. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play the TikTok first, and then we're going to talk about what this actually means and what we probably should do as soon as I get that on the screen, because this is more serious. And I'm surprised that nobody talks about, it's amazing with the mainstream media, right? There are two black guys that they found hung in trees in Mississippi. Has any one of you heard that on mainstream media at all? Has anybody? I'm curious. Finding two black guys hung within 2 days in Mississippi on a tree, and it doesn't make any news at all. Somebody sent it here to me, and the question is, why isn't it news? But the other thing that should make big news is that Larry Ellison is about to take over this TikTok. We'll know for sure on Friday. So what I want to do is I want to play this piece by a well-known TikToker. And after I want to discuss a little bit about it. So let's go ahead and play that. And then we'll take it on the other side. Let me make sure I get the video up in time. I'm always late on that.
TikTok could have a new owner by Friday. Here's everything I know about the potential deal. This is the Ellison family. They are headed by the patriarch, Larry Ellison, who owns a company called Oracle. He is one of the richest people on the planet, and for the last several years, thanks to this thing called Project Texas, all of the U.S. user-based data has been housed on Oracle servers. This is his son, David Ellison. Now, you probably heard David's name because he owns a company called Skydance Media, and they just bought Paramount Media. You may be less familiar with his daughter, Megan Ellison. She is an out lesbian who loves riding motorcycles and investing in female-led projects. She is also a prolific video game investor and has invested in Broadway shows. Currently, David Ellison owns all of these brands, okay? Everything from CBS News to Nickelodeon to the Smithsonian Channel. If his dad was given the right to purchase TikTok, then the Ellison family would own a significant amount of the programming from entertainment to news that you see. In addition, David Ellison is allegedly in talks to try and buy Warner Brothers Discovery. If that merger were allowed to go through, then David Ellison would also control all of these channels. See, this is sounding like a monopoly. Well, it's not, because these are all separate people with separate companies, although yes, I see the concern of one family owning pretty much all of the entertainment that we have access to in this country. Something else to know about this family is that David and Larry are open, unapologetic conservatives and supporters of Donald Trump. And of course, Megan, being an out lesbian who invests in female-led projects, leans a little bit more to the left. Trump has a meeting with the president of China to discuss this alleged TikTok deal on Friday. So we're not going to know before then exactly how this is all going to go down. But it has always been my suspicion if any American company was to get any sort of piece of TikTok, it would be the Ellison family because they already controlled all the data storage for the US TikTok users. The Ellison family is also the most likely to keep the current staff of TikTok employed and not replace them with loyalists or people from their own company. But of course, we have no way of guessing that. When David Ellison first took control of CBS News, one of the first things he was rumored to do was create a pathway for Bari Weiss to join in an executive leadership role. Yes, she did date Kate McKinnon when they were students at Columbia, but there's a lot more to Bari Weiss than that, and I did a whole Substack on it if you want to check it out. I also want to point out, every single time an American company has claimed that they were going to buy TikTok, that deal has fallen through, and Donald Trump has just signed an extension to keep TikTok from being banned. We should know more on Friday, but that's everything I've got for you now. If the Ellisons do take over, will you continue to TikTok?
Now, let me just tell you my opinion on this. I think this deal is likely to go through because the person purchasing it would be the right person. But I want to show you guys one thing. As we know right now, Mark Zuckerberg is eaten out of the hands of Donald Trump. He's now Donald Trump's you-know-what. He controls Facebook, Threads, WhatsApp, Instagram, and I may be missing one. That's a big, big part of our social media ecosystem. We also have Jeff Bezos. Jeff Bezos, of course, controls what used to be the progressive paper called the Washington Post. Of course, we know about all the firings. Tia got fired because she happened to say something about Charlie Kirk. We also remember that while the paper the editorial board wanted to endorse Kamala Harris, that Bezos said, nope, you can't endorse. He's also eaten out of the funnels of Donald Trump. We saw Bill Gates, who is the lovable billionaire, sitting down right next to Melania, next to Trump, at the table praising Trump. We now have Larry Ellison with the possibility of controlling all of TikTok, which TikTok is in fact the best social media expansive source. In fact, I love TikTok. The way the TikTok algorithm works right now, I get a lot of news, stuff that I didn't hear of, not even in the Post or Times, that starts out at some local story on TikTok that then blows up. And because of what the stuff that I like to follow, those good type of things show up in my feed. What do you think is going to happen around election time? I want you guys to really think about this. These are not democratic social media platforms. They're sometimes democratic in that they'll give you the kinds of things you want to see. They'll give you the kind of things you want to see. But what happens when Donald Trump is near election time and things are tough, etc.? What do you think happens to the algorithm for all these properties that the billionaires are in hock to Trump on? What do you think is going to happen? It's going to change the algorithm. The AI is going to get involved, and it's going to start doing a whole lot of stuff. So what I've been trying to tell the audience right now, and I've spoken this, I think I said this at KPFT, I don't think I said it here, is that like the old muckrakers didn't have the internet. The old muckrakers didn't have any of these things, but they were still successful in the movement. And to do that, we are going to have to follow the same type of methodology. And that methodology is old school, yes, flesh and blood, but we are a diverse company, a country that's wide. If you take a look at the people that are watching right now, they're from all over, from every corner of the country. How do we stay in touch? This is what I am telling folks. Find your 10, 20, 30 best newsletters, whether they be on Substack, whether they be on Medium, whether they're anywhere, and subscribe to them. And I'm not saying that you need to be a paid subscriber, but subscribe to them so that they can reach you, so that you can reach them. And make sure that your email is that people who give you reliable information, that they have your email. Blue Sky is good, Cynthia, but I'm even concerned about Blue Sky's viability because it has stalled in its growth. So I'm very concerned about Blue Sky. I'm still on Blue Sky, still merged to Blue Sky. I am automated to Blue Sky as well, but I'm concerned about Blue Sky. So make sure that you are, in fact, if you're just coming in here or if you're listening to this on our podcast, and that's where we get most of our audience anyway, that's where we get the mass on podcasts. But go ahead if you are listening and subscribe. Subscribe. Let us have you. We can't wait till the takeover occurs before we start building, because if we wait till the takeover occurs, there's no way to build, because we can't use their infrastructure to build our infrastructure. Again, if we wait until the takeover occurs, I wonder if it's going to happen. I wonder if it's going to happen. If you wait, by then it's too late, because it's that much harder to build the infrastructure. So I am asking all of you right now to not only subscribe to my newsletter, subscribe to other good ones, Marlon Weems, and Mr. Why can't I never remember? I'm going to pull up mine in a minute, but I subscribe to some good newsletters. And please, again, you don't have to. I know a lot of you are going to say, well, look, what's going to happen to my inbox? Create a rule and have all your stuff, after a certain period of time, if you don't want to read it, let it go to a save box or something like that. You don't have to read them all. Just make sure that when you need to read them all, they will be there for you to search. Because we're going to have to go back to old school. I hate to say it, we have to go back to good old emails because right now the way things are turning, it's going to be a very difficult situation. When I saw that it was Ellison, I kind of had a hunch it would be one of these billionaires that's his friend. Of course, he's in power. But this is very, very serious, guys. It is more serious than you think. Because while all of you that are here, Heather Cox Richardson, great person to subscribe to as well. Jay Kuo, yes. While you are, and this is important, all of you the interesting thing of all of you that are listening to me right now, y'all are savvy. Y'all know how to search for information and so forth. But most people are just gonna see what they see on TikTok. And if you don't tell them specifically, hey guys, you need to use other sources going forward, a lot of them wouldn't know. So we are dependent on all of what you guys are going to bring to the fold, guys. This is so very important. The left hook with Wajad is a good one as well. There is I'm looking for my the Tom Hartman Show, another newsletter that you want to subscribe to. And then we have where are my subscriptions? Bear with me as I go ahead and pull them down. But we really want to make sure that you are informed. There are good ones out here. I'm gonna stay away from the guy Lone Star Left, another good one. I'm going to stay away from the ones that came from mainstream media because they're well taken care of. A lot of times they bring exactly what they brought to the old school MSNBC and whatever. So I'm going to stay with these independents that are doing some very good work. So, I probably should prepare a list for you all to pick and choose from. But please, 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 go ahead and if you're not subscribed to my channel right now, Egberto Off the Record, please subscribe to Egberto Off the Record now. All right, I did a piece this morning on the farmers. And I want you to listen to this. I cleaned it up as usual. But I want us to have grace. As LBW said this morning, I want us to give folks a landing path. And I know FAFO is in vogue. I do know that. And I do know that some of us really want to have them FAFOs. But it's bigger than just us feeling good about them seeing their mistake. It's about all of us. So let me go ahead and play that, and then we'll get back with you.
I've never seen anything like it. Trump policies leave U.S. farmers in dire strait. Article from Common Dream. It's a 5-alarm fire, one Kentucky soybean farmer said, describing the harmful effect of the president's tariffs. All over TikTok, all over Instagram, I'm watching a lot of FAFOs for our farmers. And I want to remind all of us of something. I get the urge many times to do that as well. Well, you're getting what it's happening. You deserve it. After all, you voted for it. And some of you still say, even with the pain that you're going through, you're voting for it. And then I step back out of my pride. I step back out of it's earned, but out of my lack of empathy. And then I remember something that we always stood for. And it went with the phrase, united we stand, divided we fall. I also remember that if I have a sick patient, a person with a mental illness, I will have grace on them. And mental illness is not necessarily what you think it is. I've had, when I was a homophobe, When I was a sexist, I had a mental illness. I was indoctrinated from my culture, and I had to give that up. And in giving that up, it made me who I could be. And that's how I look at farmers. That's how I look at those people who vote against their own interests. That's how I look at folks who continue to fray. Now, as anticipated, U.S. President Donald Trump's economic and immigration policies are harming American farmers. They're getting it from two sides, folks, both on the labor side and on the price side. After Trump slapped a 30% tariff on Chinese imports in May, Beijing retaliated with measures including stopping all purchases of U.S. soybeans. Before the trade war, a quarter of soybeans, the nation's number one export crop produced in the United States, were exported to China. Whole 25%. Trump's tariffs mean American soybean growers can't compete with countries like Brazil, the world's leading producer and exporter of the staple crop, and itself the target of 50% tariff. We depend on the Chinese market. The reason we depend so much on this market is China consumes 61% of soybeans produced worldwide. Kentucky farmer Caleb Riglin, who is president of the American Soybean Association, told News Nation on Monday, right now, we have zero sold for this crop that starts to be harvested right now. So nobody is there to buy their crop. Roland continued, it's a 5-alarm fire for our industry that 25% of our total sales is currently missing. And right now, we are not competitive with Brazil due to the retaliatory tariffs that are in place. Our prices are about 20% higher. And that means that the Chinese are going elsewhere because they can find a better value. So their angst, their pain is a direct result of Donald Trump's policies. By the way, before Donald Trump was elected, he said he was going to do this, and progressives pointed out what the results are of tariffs. And they are, one, it's a tax on poor people, middle class people. It's a tax on everybody because, again, it's money the government collects, but it's further. It's money removed from the vibrant economy. And because of our deficit spending, it's not money that is thrown back into the economy. It's money the president is going to use to continue paying for the tax cuts the wealthy gets. And when the wealthy gets this money, because wealthy people don't spend more money when they pay less taxes, they just put that money into further investments. And those further investment doesn't mean building a factory, because if people have less money, there's no reasons to build factories because they don't have the money to spend to support those. So it's a lie that's just a matter of collecting income from all of you and giving it to the few. And the American soybean farmers and their families are suffering. They are 500,000 of us that produce soybeans, and we desperately need markets and we need opportunity and a leveled playing field. There is an artificial barrier that built in with these tariffs that makes us not be competitive. Tennessee Soybean Promotion Council Executive Director Stefan Maupin likened the tariffs to death by 1,000 cuts. I'll say by one big gash, really. That's what I would say. We are in a significant and desperate situation where none of the crops that farmers grow right now turn a profit. So what does that mean? They need government subsidies. Wait a minute. Isn't that called welfare? Isn't that the things that make these folks many a times look at the few people in the urban areas on these programs a problem? We are in a significant and desperate situation. None of the crops that farmers grow right now return a profit. Alan Meadows, a fifth-generation soybean farmer in Lauderdale County, Tennessee, said, this has been a really tough year for us. What year is this again? Oh, the year that the person you elected is now in power, the one that you thought was going to help you out. So much of what has happened, and by the way, the farm bill under Biden really helped out farmers, and they'll tell you about it. Even as they vote for Trump, they tell you about it. It started with devastating flooding in April, followed by a drier than usual summer. Higher supply costs due to inflation and Trump's tariffs exacerbated the dire situation. But we have a lot of crop. There's a lot of crop to be sold. So even with the floods and the drought, there is still oversupply of product, but nobody to sell it to. So much has happened, and what's going on here is totally out of our control. DC controls the market. Farmers are desperate for help from the federal government. Really? Whatever happened to lifting yourself up by your bootstraps again? Being a rugged individual? And where are most of these farms again? Red states. And what's familiar with red states again? Already you get more money from the government than you pay, but we need to give you more to keep you afloat. I'm good with that, though. I'm telling you, I'm honestly good with that. Farmers are desperate. Maupin added that farmers have done everything right. No, they haven't. They voted wrong. They voted for what's occurring to them right now. So the first part of correcting of solving Ron's problem is correcting their behavior. I looked in the mirror when I wasn't the right kind of person. I looked in the mirror and I said, you would cease to exist. And I mean that both literally and figuratively. You have to first accept that you've made a mistake. Now, remember earlier how I started? I said, if you have somebody with a mental problem, like I had a mental problem at one time, you have to solve that problem. So how do you solve this mental problem? And this is where I want to talk to my brothers and sisters who sometimes get upset when we say, well, we got to toe the line one more time, and maybe one more time, and maybe one more time. Now is the time that the farmers are feeling pain, that our rural brothers and sisters are feeling pain as their hospitals close down. They can see it with their own eyes now. Now is the time where the educational process can actually be blended with their living experiences to have a material effects on their minds, because you still have farmers saying this. It's not just soybean farmers that are hurting. Tim Maxwell, a 65-year-old Iowa grain and hog farmer, told BBC, our yields, crops, and weather are good, but our interest from markets right now is on a low. Why? Tariffs. Despite his troubles, Maxwell remains supportive of Trump, saying that he's going to be patient. I believe in our president. However, there is a limit to Maxwell's patience with Trump. We're giving him the chance to follow through with tariffs, but there had better be results, he said. I think we need to be seeing something in 18 months or less. We understand risk, and it had better pay off. It also not just Trump economic policies, but let me explain the opening there. I know a lot of you are saying, my God, with all the pain that you're going through, you're still a Trump supporter. Well, yeah. You know why he's still a Trump supporter? He doesn't know any better. Who is out there spending the time, the effort? And I know it's frustrating. Who's out there? LB, help me here, Professor. Campisi, help me out, Professor. Who is there? You have to teach. You can't be an elitist. You can't be, well, damn it, if you don't know it, you should. You're feeling the pain. Then why are you doing it? Because that's all they know. That's all they know. Look, I want to hate on these people. I want to call these people all kinds of names. And then I realize I would be wrong. I'd be wrong. I need to be out there. The same effort that the right spent on polluting these people's minds is the same that the right did that. It's the same effort and more the left is going to have to do to show them that the taxes is a ripoff. And as this farmer waits for 18 months, many of his brothers and sisters will get the result that the current administration is looking for. And this is not conjecture. They said it. In the last administration, they said that many small farms will have to go. That is what Donald Trump's previous Secretary of Agriculture said. The day of the small farm is over. It doesn't need to be over. It shouldn't be over. We shouldn't have corporate farming solely. In fact, corporate farming should be the minority. But his previous agriculture secretary said it. Look it up. Now, we have to be armed and going into the den and speaking to those farmers and letting them know what the agriculture secretary said. Let them know how tariffs really work. Let them know that this is nothing but a ploy to take their lands away and turn it into corporate farms. You know, a lot of people raising chickens right now. You see all these farmers raising their chickens, but they don't own the chicken coop. It's all